हेलो हेलो। ज्योति स्टेनो टाइपिंग कॉलेज में आप सभी का स्वागत है बच्चों। ये 100 WPM डिक्टेशन क्लास है, इंग्लिश 100 WPM डिक्टेशन, और ये सभी डिपार्टमेंटों के लिए इम्पोर्टेंट डिक्टेशन है। तो सभी इसको लिखने की कोशिश करेंगे। आप लोग भी इसको लिखेंगे तीनों। ये जो 80 वाले जो बच्चे हैं वो भी इसको लिखने की कोशिश किया करो। Dictation start after 5 seconds. Now, even the small entrepreneur or even the public sector cannot go to the open market and cannot buy cement or steel by paying black market price, whereas the private sector has the advantage. Whenever they are needy and are in shortage of these materials, they can at once go to the open market so that their plants will run at smooth speed. If we look at the conditions about payments to the workers of bonus, etc., there also you will find that there is discrepancies. Whatever private sector can do, the public sector cannot do that. Even in the case of breakdowns in the plants in a public sector, for example, there is a breakdown in the boiler in a thermal plant in the public sector. The management there has not powers to buy spare parts even if they are available in the open market. They cannot buy them because of the price factor. The price may be a black market price which the public sector management is not allowed to pay to get the repairs done at once. They will have to make an indent or make a requisition for it and go on waiting for the spares until and unless they get the spare parts at proper value and so on. Whereas the private sector faces no such difficulty. If there is a breakdown at once, they can send people to the market and they can buy spare parts at whatever the price they have to pay and get the job done within a very short time and keep the plant in running condition so that production may not suffer. Sir, there are many other factors which make a difference between the running of the public sector and the private sector. We should not go on blaming the bosses of the public sector without considering these factors or these differences between the running of a private sector management and the public sector management or institutions. So, until and unless we take care of some of these anomalies which are existing between the private sector management of the industry and public sector management of the industry, we cannot hope to achieve a better performance in the public sector units. Now coming to the labor side of the problem, as rightly pointed out by my friend, I am also of the same opinion that in our country, in an industrial unit, there should not be more than one union. We should not allow more than one union in a plant. By whatever method we do it, by secret ballot or whatever it is, even if you have to amend the labor laws, You must amend them immediately so that you allow only one bargaining union in one unit or in one plant, because there are so many unions in every plant. Even there are so many factions in one union fighting daily. Mr. Chairman, sir, I heartily commend this resolution for the acceptance of all sections of this House. It is taken outside in some important quarters as if lotteries would only propagate more of the gambling instinct, but that is not so. Even if it is so, I think that this resolution permitting national lotteries will not be worse than what the government has already accepted in allowing horse racing to go on unrestricted in India. In various states, there was opposition and motions were moved in state legislatures, but with government support, those motions were defeated and tactics were adopted by our previous rulers to admit some rich men as Indian stewards and sometimes also as judges in turf clubs, with the result that gambling on horse racing, which runs the middle class people in Calcutta, Bombay, and in other places, is going on much more than it used to be in the British days. There were restrictions on the number of days of horse racing in Calcutta, now even on Sundays and holidays except the national holidays. Most of the holidays have now been taken up by horse racing. Previously, there were approximately 50 days in a year for racing. Now it is more than 100 days. You will see millions of people there on racing days. In this particular case of national lotteries, even if we make a beginning, we will get a huge sum. A small country like Ireland has done a lot of earning. I think the lotteries in India can be the biggest draw in the world. However, there is one point in regard to these national lotteries. If we organize them even in countries outside India, we can attract enormous amount of foreign exchange and give a part of the collections to winners. After all, 15% only as expenses is allowed in any lottery. If we take away from the collections about 40% as stake money and 50% as cost, that is 55%. In all, we are having a net earning of 45%. So, if we organize this, there will be available an enormous amount of foreign exchange, just as we get from foreign tourists coming to this country, and foreign exchange will flow into this land. Sir, objection has also been raised in describing the prize bonds issued by the government, which has been copied from Great Britain as an instrument to encourage gambling. But it was argued that this was not gambling and that the buyer of the prize bond got back the money paid by him for it in full after 5 years, and that there was no loss to the buyer for it. That is a fallacious argument, because a person investing rupees 100 in a 100 rupee prize bond loses the interest on it for a period of 5 years, since he gets back only rupees 100. And if he had invested it, he would have earned interest. वर्ड बता देता हूँ कितने हैं ये. 984 वर्ड हैं और ये जो पढ़ी गई है कैलकुलेटर कहाँ गया यहाँ से। 984 वर्ड डिवाइड बाई 9, 109 की ये स्पीड थी। इंग्लिश 100 WPM न्यू डिक्टेशन का एक फोल्डर है, उसमें आपको मिल जाएगी डिक्टेशन नंबर 24। इसको पहले अच्छे से पढ़िए, फिर उसको टाइप कीजिए। इस क्लास के नेतृत्व नमस्कार।